One of the must-have features in EIB Analytics 218 is the new train of thought analysis. Train of thought analysis is all about taking an existing report, so in this example a profit and loss report, and actually second guessing what the user wants to do next in terms of what extra analysis would they want to do based on looking at the numbers on the screen. So in this example you can see we have a P&L structure in the rows, and we have our actual budget variance and the year-to-date equivalents in the columns. And what I can do is I can right click on any row and I can right click on any column, and in this case you can see the report has been set up to say how do I want to analyze from there. So if I clicked on cost of sales or clicked on UK sales, what do I want to analyze that by? And if I right clicked on say UK sales and clicked on analyze by company, then what would happen, EIB Analytics would create a new report for me based on that criteria. So as soon as I right click and select the analyze by companies, it has now created that new report. And I can build up my train of thought. So I could say, okay, that's interesting. I've homed in on UK sales. I've analyzed that now by companies in the columns. I could now pick on one of the, in the rows, I could now pick on one of the columns, say actual year to date, and further analyze that by department, and that will give me a new report as well. Now all these reports didn't exist before I clicked on these right click options here on the donor report. But all of these are live EIB Analytics queries in their own right, so at any time I could save either of these or both of these back to the report gallery, and then I've got some brand new reports that I've created myself without having to be an expert in the report layout designer panel or anything like that. So let's go and have a look at that in action, how we set that up and how we then consume that as a user. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the authoring changes you need to make. So imagine you've now upgraded from a la carte 213, 14, 15 to EIB Analytics 218. You've opened up one of your reports and you want to apply the new train of thought analysis in 218. How would you do that? So I'm going to go across to a profit and loss trend report here. Now to set this up, so this is not what the end user would have to do, this is what whoever looks after the reports would do. The first thing we would do is we right click on any row or any column, and there's this option here at the bottom called Perform EIB Report Studio Action, and you click on Analyze By, and this gives you the different train of thought you can put into the report. So I might say if the user sees something out of kilter here, how would they want to explore the data? Now you can see in this example I've got multi-company, so maybe I'd want to analyze it by company, and also if I expand the nominal account here, I've got cost centers and departments up here. Maybe I'd want to analyze that as well. So I can go here and check on cost center. I can go down here and check on department. And if I go further down here, I could say maybe I want to analyze, or further up rather, maybe I want to also analyze company. So this will work on any cube, doesn't have to be the finance cube, can be any of the other cubes, can be line of business applications such as shipping, insurance, hotel analytics, you name it. All of this will work with this approach. And I click on close and you'll see gloriously absolutely nothing seems to happen. Now I can start using this report, but just imagine now I've saved this report back, so I've overwritten this report now with this, and I now open this report as a user. So the report looks and behaves by default in exactly the same way as it did before. The difference is I could actually now right click on UK sales here, and you see those train of thoughts that I've just created as an author are now available to me. So if I wanted to analyze UK sales by company, I could click on that and it would go away and produce that report. If I wanted to now take the total months there and break that down by department, I could do so. If I wanted to take company 1 and break that down by cost center, I could do so. So you get the idea. Now I know some people have said to us, well, if that's so powerful, why wouldn't we just check all the boxes on all the dimensions, and then the user can pretty much do any query they like? And yes, they can, but I think you can imagine if you right click and you get a list of about 200 options, then you probably haven't helped the end user at all. In fact, you probably made it even more confusing for that user to know what to select next. So I think the dimensions you select for each report need to be in context. If there are certain dimensions the user's never going to analyze that by, then in my mind there is no point in putting those in. Now that's just one finance example. If I go across to a line of business application, so I'm now going across to an insurance example here, and here you can see we have a lot more criteria here in the report, and we've set up a few more train of thought analysis. So if I actually go into February here and I right click on February and say I want to actually analyze the month of February by brokers, which are called sub-agents, if I click on that now, you'll see that that report has now spun round and created a brand new report for me now, where I've now got my broker performance now in the rows. And I could further refine that in the columns. I could actually say, okay, and base that down by occupation. So now I'm going to get a breakdown by brokers and the occupation of the policy holders here. So really, really powerful stuff. And I could obviously go further and say I want to break that down by age band. And now I've got a breakdown of the insured age bands here, 21 to 24, etc. And I've done that all in a couple of clicks, and all these reports are live. That's the thing I like. And if I click and save this back to the gallery, I've just created a brand new report for me, but I haven't had to know how to use the report layout designer panel. I've just literally done it through a right click and selecting the option I want. So this I think is a great feature, and I urge you that if you've upgraded from an earlier release to 2.18, in my mind this is the first thing you would apply to your application.